Fandoms unite with a Boba Fett swagger and the Jedi's in sight. It's a comic book cocktail, shaken and stirred. We're the coolest cats in the whole nerd herd. Grab your badge and strike.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the last Concast of February 2026.
There you go. Sorry, I was trying to share this, and I'm constantly looking down. I got to look at what shirt I'm wearing to see what episode I'm sharing. So,
oh, I got this new shirt. I just got it in the mail. All right, it's geeking me out. Check it. Check it. I shall rise, for it is the sun, and I shall rise up. And if you look to scale, excuse me, I got to do to scale is every planet in the solar system in order, and Earth. Hold on, where's Earth? Other finger. Earth is blue.
But, so if you're listening on the audio version, you have one giant sun about from nipple to nipple.
You got one giant fat man standing in front of the camera here. Okay. But yeah, it's the giant.
You go all the way down to show us there's two tiny moons down there, but huh?
No. It's all the planets in the solar system and the sun and all of it to scale. So the sun takes up, I would say, half of my upper torso, and all the planets are lined up underneath, and it looks really cool. I liked it. I saw it and I was like, oh, that is my kind of nerd right there.
I've actually seen that shirt before, so I don't know where I've seen it, but where I've seen
it was
design.
all over Facebook. But how do you think? Matter of fact, one of the things I want to talk about is Facebook businesses and all the stuff like that, and that's something that we can talk about a little bit later because it's really cool.
Awesome. Well, as long as we're showing off shirts, I'll show off mine because I really liked this shirt. It just says, it's a skeleton captain, says, look at me. I'm the captain now. So I put this on thinking, oh, we're a pirate thing on the podcast tonight. And I was trying to get that Scooby done enough to show them off. So I'm doing the acetone swirl. Did the slurry on it. Everything's going good. And then I go check out my daughter's house. She goes, oh, you're wearing the shirt you bought when we were on vacation. I go, yeah. And as I do, my thumb goes right into a hole. The
acetone ate it.
Splashed up, and I got little holes all over this shirt now. I'm so sad.
Oh, no.
There's no real fixing it. So
no, except for getting another shirt.
Well, it was a suggestion. I'll say it again later when I'm talking about working on a couple things, but the slurry is great. Be careful.
Yeah. With everything, you have to have PPE. You have to have your personal protective equipment.
I put down a mat, or I should say my wife, bless her heart, put down a mat for me and everything. So I had everything was going good. I didn't think that.
You didn't do it inside, did you?
Huh?
You didn't do it inside.
You did? Yes.
You very, very bad. You need to be, hi, Kristen. You need to be in a well-ventilated space. And an old house with no caulking around the window does not count as a well-ventilated space.
I was talking oddly with this about the guy at Walmart today when I went to go get more primer because he was a friend of Christie's who used to work there. So he came up, and every time I go to buy primer or glue or something at Walmart, you always get that same thing where they got to come over and check your 18. They look at you and go, you 18 by a day or two, right? Or something like that, where it's the same old joke. Yeah. And you're like, yeah. And so he did that. And then he goes, said something about bringing Christy back. And I go, I keep bringing her back. You guys won't take her. And he goes, well, let me get that spray paint for you. And I was just like, yeah, I got to get the spray paint just to huff to get through this shit now. And so I'm starting to crack these jokes and stuff. And, yeah, that was the whole conversation. And he asked the same thing because I was spray painting in the basement, even though it's gorgeous out. So then as soon as I got home, I was like, took everything outside, spray painted outside. I've just been so used to being locked up in the house. I've got my little stations set up throughout the house.
Right.
And then, yeah. So, but we're slowly getting that taken care of. Yeah. Just in time for Ren Fair season to totally bulldoze over all that and my house be full of just flags and leather and shit now. So
now see what I do is I will spray my acrylic in here. I've got that little paint booth that I spray acrylic in. Yep. But if I'm doing anything with like a rattle can or anything with volatile organic chemicals, even if it's, I've done it when it's like, -10 with the wind chill outside, I'll just go to a corner of my porch that's not catching the wind, hit it really quick with the stuff, and then scurry back in and let it set up inside.
Yeah, I was spraying out front for a while, but I'm just doing too much now. I got and the room that I have for painting, I just kind of took back this week. That's where Tim was staying.
Oh yeah.
I went in and cleaned it up this week. So now I got a spot. But since I have everything established throughout the house now, I'm like, well, let me finish these projects. So now I got a perfectly clean room to work in, and everything else is throughout the house still. So I get done with like my Scooby and that He-Man and that dinosaur and all that shit. So I figure about another week, and just in time for March to hit, and then April will be when festivals kill us.
Matter of fact, let me share. This is one of my geekgasms. All right, this is my geekgasm. I've finally gotten some mojo back, and I've been working on that 1650 Enterprise that I'm using all of the different color lightings on and stuff like that. And I got I've got it mostly put together now. I just need to solder in the wiring. But let me see here. Window. Where's it at? I know I have it. There it is. And so I should be able to share it.
Well, while you're looking, I'll just talk to Kristen. We'll just talk in text.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
No, that's that. Video preview. Entire screen. Well, screw it. We're going to go entire screen.
Okay.
All right. So you see everything that I see. All right, here it is. All right, you see?
So anybody listens to the audio version, I am seeing a picture of what looks like the original Starship Enterprise in all of its blinky purple and white glory.
Yeah, that's the
decapitated and wires coming out of it.
Yeah, that's the wires coming out. I've got to be able to fit all that stuff inside, so I'm going to be trimming those all off and soldering everything together. But getting those Bassards to be wired up and blinking and everything, and get all that done, I was very, very proud of. Now let me stop sharing. All right.
Well, but I went after last week's podcast. I went downstairs, told Christy, I said, we brought up the idea of like maybe me doing that like She-Ra or something for Daryl, and then him doing something for with the lights or something, or vice versa, where I have to do lights and wiring and you have to do, we talked about that, and Christy already was like, oh, there's lots of shit I would like that I just haven't made.
I just today ordered off of AliExpress because I was sitting there thinking, because all of the WS2812 individually addressable, RGB LEDs that I have are all SMD ones, surface mounted device. So they're the flat ones that are on the ribbon, and you cut off portions of them and stuff like that. And I was like, there has got to be ones that are just like your standard bulb LEDs. And so I did a little research, and I found that I can order them on AliExpress. It took a little digging to find it at a reasonable price, but I just ordered a batch of 100 of them, 100 each individual LED for $10.
Oh wow! Do these work like the others where you can cut them and?
No, they are individual, but instead of like your standard LED that has two lines on it, positive.
I've got some of those. I've got some of those downstairs. I think are the same thing. It's just like a wire, and it goes to a little. Mine run to a power box if I want it.
Yeah, and that's their standard LED. But these, instead of having two wires, they have four wires. They have four lines coming out. All right, one is the power going in, one is the ground, but the other one is data coming in and data coming out. So you can sit there and program it to flash or do whatever color, whatever combination you want. And then instead of like, if you wanted, one to be one thing and flash one way, and another one to be another thing, and a third one to be another thing, instead of having to run individual lines to each of those, you can just daisy chain it from the data in to the data out, the data in to the data out. So it just takes one comm line to run hundreds of lights if you want.
Oh, I got just one big circuit. I kind of figured that was already common, but that shows me not doing a lot of that. Okay, John says, hi, Geekasm, loving my 3D printer. I was talking about your 3D printer today.
That is a good 3D printer.
I'm getting so jealous. Before I get to my geekgasm, I'll talk about my jealousy first. Now, my kids have all decided to get into 3D printing, all of them. I mean, they were. Yeah, Josh was doing it way before like fucking most people even knew 3D printers existed. So I give him a little credit. But matter of fact, he was one of the first people I ever saw that set up a 3D printing booth at a convention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he had that stuff and we gave him free booth space. But back then 3D printing was very different than it is today.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna have a big talk about that here in a little bit too, but about vending and stuff. But
You froze up on me. I don't know if you froze up on everybody, but you froze up on me. Hey, guys. Are you seeing him move? Oh, boy. Well, let's check. Let's go to where it's being broadcast, and let's see if he's talking. Or if he's frozen up. I apologize if he's frozen up, or I apologize if I'm not catching him. No. No, it's just my end. No, it's me. Yeah, it's well, John hopefully will be joining us here rather quickly. Hopefully he will notice that he's not talking on. he will occasionally, keep talking and not realize he's not there. But yeah. Other than that, any cool things that is happening with me? Well, we had I had the meeting. Oh, hold on. Here is Little Beard.
Am I there? I jumped on a different internet connection. I don't know what the deal was. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I was trying to do my soft shoe song and dance, but because you were gone.
Yeah, because you can't finish what I was in the middle of talking about. So,
well, that's the problem. You didn't even really start. You were frozen for quite a while.
Oh, was I? Okay, so David got his 3D printer a week or two ago, that resin one, and then he decided he wanted to get the new Creality, the 4-color, the one that's like 2 stages above mine. And
is it the Creality H2? Is it?
Maybe it's an enclosed box. The other 3 colors come separate. It's a separate rig that you buy and add to it.
Yeah, that's called the AMS, an automatic material system. Yeah, okay, yeah.
It just came in today.
Oh, he got it in. Okay, nice.
So now he did a little mess up. He thought he had ordered the whole 4-color thing, and he hadn't ordered the other part, so he's got to order the other part now. But it's coming in.
Still have to order the AMS?
The other 3 colors. So he's over there printing regular single color right now.
Oh, so he has to still order more filament, is what you're saying?
No, he's got the filament, but so it comes in as a single. It only prints a single color at a time right now, but it has a whole separate kit where you add it on, and then it'll print 4 colors. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing that holds all 4 reels is usually the material system, the automatic material system.
That's what he's got to order. So
that's a shame because it's normally cheaper if you get them together.
Well, I think that's what he thought he was doing, and when it showed up today, it wasn't there, and so he looked and it hadn't been ordered. So he debated on sending it back, but he was wanting to print so bad. So he got that, and I'm like, oh, fucking awesome. That's great. Now he's got a better setup than I do. He's got a resin setup and the nicer machine, and my daughter and son-in-law got back into it, and they got 3 machines that they had bought used.
Yeah.
And so we've been kind of helping each other out. And then they got a resin printer that needed a new LCD screen on it, and it's got the huge bed on it. The fucking 8-inch by 4-inch bed or whatever. And the larger, bigger than a sofa. Huh? What?
On the resin printer?
Yeah, on the resin.
Yeah.
So they got one like that's not working. So they just bought a whole new resin printer, a huge Elegoo printer, real nice.
Nice.
So they're like, you want our old one. So everybody's got better printers than me now, but I've got me a nice, huge build plate 3D resin printer now. I do have to fix the LCD screen, but once I get that fixed,
that's a little bit problematic because now we need to pull up the make and model and see if we can get you a new LCD screen for it.
Yeah, it looks like it's 150, which sucks because the whole unit I could pick up for 300.
Yeah.
So I'm debating on whether it's going to be fixable or not. I'm going to tinker with it and see.
At that closeness to it, I mean, one, you're dealing with an older printer.
Yeah.
All right. And who knows what other wear and tear is on that device. All right. And it almost makes more sense. You know, it's like, okay, I could buy a new car. All right. Or I can get this used car that I need to rebuild the engine on. All right.
That's been me my whole fucking life, though. I mean, even look at the festivals and stuff. I always go, instead of buying the thing I need, and if I bought this thing and this thing and put it together, I could make stage decorations myself. Fuck it, I got this. And that's both a blessing and a curse. That's why I got a pirate ship that falls apart when I take it from state to state or that kind of shit.
Well, truly, if it was well put together, would it be a pirate ship or a privateer? Anyway,
hang on a second. Let's see. John says not good for complete helmets. Boo. I have a fat head, but we'll make every helmet I've done so far. Matter of fact, that's what I am getting ready to print right now is a 40K Space Marine helmet. But I've got a couple, my Clytus, my Iron Man. I've scaled them down just slightly because I didn't need them wearable. And unfortunately, most helmets, when you make them wearable, they're huge. People don't realize how big they'll come out. And I want them for display. But almost everything, my Clytus I could do in 2 pieces. My Iron Man I did in 4 pieces. It's not hard to get in and size them up. A lot easier doing 3D printing than making them normally. Because when I used to make helmets normally, sizing was the worst.
My only suggestion, because I'm running into this slicing stuff myself, and I'm sure you do as well, John, is if you're gonna take an object and slice it into parts so you can print, different sections, don't just use the slice command on the slicer, the cut command on the slicer. Go in and do some connections, add some connectors in there, some dowels or something like that. That way it lines up better and you don't have a misalignment when you're gluing it together. Well, and yeah,
I talked about that a little last week.
Hey, Kelly.
I had this problem this week on it too. We're gonna just be a 3D printing channel after this. Connectors, when I do small pieces, I definitely put connectors in. Well, not definitely, depending on the piece. Some of them I don't give a shit because they just super glue, they're done. But medium-sized pieces, I put connectors. Big ones, like Scooby, which I got my Scooby sitting here, I was going to show you guys, but I didn't put connectors on him because I anticipated the problem I've had with the other big prints I've done, and I haven't done many, but some of them I'll get a little warping on the bed every once in a while, like a piece curls up, or something just doesn't print quite right, and then you're trying to match it up, and if those blocks, if anything warps, then those blocks don't match up, and then you got to sit there and shave the blocks. And I had the middle torso of Scooby do just that. Like it was rough to where I was like even having to cut back some pieces off to get them to glue in properly. But I guess I can show that real quick too, because it's not my mechanism.
My example for that is like this one I'm putting together. You can see the problem is, well, where's the camera? The problem is even though I have this all aligned and everything, it's just got a little bit of lift on the corners. So I'm going to have to fill that in with 3D printer resin, and then hit that with the UV beam, and then sand that all down and repair all that. But once I get that all, but now I don't have to worry, because the one I put together before, I didn't have those alignment pins in there, and it shifted. All right. And it might be only 1/10 of a millimeter, but that's enough to just throw everything way out of kilter.
Yeah. And granted, you'd always just cut those pins off and glue it together anyway. But
no, the pins are actually ones that you put in.
They're like talking actual pin in it. Okay. I thought you meant the in the files. my mistake on doing some of this, and it's one of the things that scares me, with like where I talk with you on the ships where everything's smooth and flat and it shows defects. So
Yeah.
almost all the really big prints I've done, that's why I've liked some of this He-Man shit, because it's got detail in it,
Right.
has been organic.
Greebles hide mistakes.
Yes. Yeah, all the things I have is organic and smooth, and that's what fucking me with Scooby, because he is so smooth. And I showed you all last week the problem I had with the head. It looked like it was like 3 times bigger than it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
It's to scale. It's just so cartoonish.
Right.
But that also means like his neck, there's like, so here, I'm going to just show you, there's so much room. It is not glued together because I'm still sanding, but if you guys, there's Scooby's head, and that's the body. So
Thank God he's not anatomically correct. Okay.
he stands 3 foot 8 inches, so it stands right. It looks good, but, and I know you guys can't see it, but there are little, like where the seams are, I have puttied, I have done the slurry, and it's still on the big broad areas.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to hide those seams, and I've done the best I can. I'm still working on it, but I know once I paint him one solid color, because he's not going to get a wash and a dry brush. He's going to be one solid color with details. He's a cartoon character. Some of that's just going to show, and I'm not sure the best way to hide it.
I think I sent you a video, that dude I was telling you about, where he was just doing the amazing seam work on that Slave One from Gambody.
Uh-huh.
And the way he did it, you cannot, I mean, and it is a smooth, you know, it's a large, smooth area. The way, by the time he was done, you couldn't see a single thing. And then he, at my request, he went ahead and made another video just on him doing the seams and how he does it. And I'm going to be using his techniques from here on out, because after he gets done with it, and once he puts that primer down, you're not, because the primer reveals all. Primer lets you know all of your mistakes.
Keep talking. I'm going to grab something right here.
And so, yeah, because that's the thing. You know, you may think that it's all smooth. You've gone through with, you know, your 800 grit 400 grit sandpaper, and then 800, and take it all down. You may think you have everything done, but as soon as you put that first coat of primer down, any scratch, anything that you missed is just going to scream out at you.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason there's so many times that I put primer down just to strip the primer away immediately so I can fix the mistakes that it showed up.
That's exactly what I've been doing on Scooby. He's been primed gray, and I went back through and primed white, and white shows all defects. And then I went back through and I'm priming gray now again.
Okay.
But I've had to hit him so many times. John, on the slicing, if you can get in the slicer, it's what I've just done with this Warhammer helmet. Try to hide those seams. I had this right over there. It's about the best example. This is Iron Man Mark I helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through and sliced it myself, and I put the seams right on every seam. So like the seam is under here. So every seam the helmet had, I moved the seams they had to those spots. And if you can do that and still fit it on your bed, that's the best thing to do.
It doesn't necessarily have to be symmetrical, just as long, you know, so it's exactly half helmet here, half helmet here. If you have to cut it into, you know, like 5 or 6 different pieces in order to be able to hide those lines, do it. I mean, you're sitting there in front of the computer anyway.
I tried to do a little bit that with Scooby here, but to make the pieces fit on my bed, some of them I had to slice down even into smaller pieces, and there's just no way getting around it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my geekasm, which I don't know that I'd have one other than getting that resin parent, but I did finish this kit this week too.
What?
Chewbacca.
Oh,
just cute little Chewbacca. He's going right. Y'all can't, well, fuck it, I'll show you. I got a Chewbacca shelf right there.
Oh, you
shelf.
do?
Yep.
What's Anakin doing on that shelf? Kick his ass off.
That Darth Vader is I got that when I was like 6 years old, and it got lost. And I only had the lightsaber left for 30 years or so. And my little brother Alex was going through a whole bunch of shit my mom was throwing out, found it, wrapped it up, gave it to me as like a Christmas gift kind of thing. So I hang on to it. It's right up there. I just think. Oh my God.
That actually forgives a few of his sins.
Yeah. I have
Not a whole lot of them.
Bless her heart, because when mom was doing that shit, I got to go through a few things on the trailer, and I found downstairs I have a giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that I got when I was 1985, probably.
Wow.
So, however, yeah, when the movie came out, and
Yeah.
I remember it was a $50 stuffed animal in 1985, and it was in a trash bag to be thrown away. Found it in there, and I was like, "Oh fuck! That I lost that when I went to college. Got it back. It sits downstairs in my office."
Nice.
So, stuff like that. But I got plenty of shit to talk about tonight. I'm sure you do too.
Oh yeah, I've got some things that I've just been, because I do a lot of driving and thinking, as I'm going from one site to another for work. And one of the things that was just blowing my mind, and one of the things I need to work on is I like to think that more than the average, human, I am trying to keep up with everything that's happening in the AI space and all this stuff like that. But here in the last several months, I quickly feel like I'm being left behind, because where last year everybody was talking about, oh, it's going to be agentic, it's going to be agentic. It is now. It is now, and so I have been plotting out how I'm going to be using stuff in order to get myself back into the loop. And one of the things is, let me see. It's shifting from passive chatbots to autonomous digital employees that can reason, plan, and execute multi-step workflows. The most significant evolution over the last few months has been the removal of the coding barrier. Platforms like Zapier and N8N have matured to the point where you can architect sophisticated systems using natural language and visual nodes rather than having to literally code Python. So all that stuff you've seen in the past where people would have to sit there and, enter in, lines and lines and lines of code, that doesn't happen anymore. What you can do now, and what I'm going to be trying to do is like, okay, I'm going to start off, lightweight. I don't want to think that I'm going to, take over the world or anything. That's on Thursday. But,
Okay.
what
AI didn't do it first.
Is I'm going to try to use it in the winery, because one of the things that I use in order to keep track of all of our batches that we use and all of our recipes is Beersmith. But one of the things I don't like about Beersmith is that we utilize tilt hydrometers in order to keep track of how the batches are progressing. It tells us our specific gravities. It tells us our temperatures in them and all the stuff like that. And you can infer a lot of information from that, but that just goes up to a Google document. All right. And then I can look at the Google document and I can make my own, stuff, but it doesn't go into the Beersmith, and the data is almost static. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put together an AI agent that basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it periodically, because the tilt hydrometers report every 15 minutes. So I'm going to have it hourly be grabbing the tilt hydrometer information, and then from there being able to generate not even just generate reports, but also I can have it, if it decides that something, like the batch is done, or it hits the 1/3 sugar breaks or stuff like that, or this is the point we need to be adding these nutrients or something like that. It can tell by the progression, the specific gravity and stuff like that, and will send me notification to my phone or wherever I decide, or however I decide I want it to notify me. I can have it notify me, but all this stuff is built on top of an LLM, a large language model. So I'm not sitting there having to, code each thing individually. When it does such and such, do such and such, if this, then that kind of situation. This is more along the lines of where I can just tell it, here's the data. I've connected you. I've given you so many tokens so you can, so many dollars so you can go through tokens. All right. This is what I want you to look for. Just let me know if stuff happens or if there's anything I should be aware of. And it will make the executive decisions to let me know about things and how to do stuff. And that's easy to program now. And
it sounds a lot like what you were talking about with the Rent a Human episode when we were talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all pretty much just that same of you're just AI is literally a personal assistant, like
And that's
picking up your dry
what it is.
cleaning, picking up, supper.
And that's what we need to be treating it like, where we need to take ourselves, from the level of, I'm managing this and I'm managing this and I'm managing this, to take it up to the level where I'm managing the AI, which is managing this and managing this and managing this. And so basically this is taking you from the level of, where before we were all grunts in the platoon doing what we had to do. And then, initially AI came out and we moved up to NCOs. So we were just the NCOs telling the grunts what to do. All right, generate this code for me, write this paragraph for me. All right, make this picture for me. But now with these agents, we've moved up the chain again to now we're either a senior NCO or we're an actual officer, a butter bar lieutenant. And so now we're telling the agent, all right, here's the workflow I want you to take over. So you manage all of this and make sure everything gets done. And then you hand me the finished project so I can go ahead and approve it. And that's the step we're at right now. And that's the leading point of the wave that we need to get on so we don't get left behind.
Gotcha. I'm going to comment on what both John and Jake said here, which I don't know if I said hi to Jake. Hey, Jake. John says AI has invaded my job. They tell me what to say and record every word. Sigh. Jake says AI boosted my job and made my workflow way faster. I'm assuming Jake's referring to the tattoo work. I'm assuming unless there's other stuff you're referring to something else I don't know, which I could see. I was going to ask even if maybe you were getting AI imagery coming in or something like that, but
oh, I'm sure he's getting a ton of it.
See, and that's the thing, like it with my work makes it way fucking easier. It does. It helps tremendously on all sorts of stuff. I'm not allowed to use it. It is like the industry has told me in conventions and festivals, don't use it. And I don't mean just for posters, but don't use it at all. Like we have AI music on this. Nobody said shit, but I watched Kansas City Ren Fairs getting right through the coals this week on AI artwork they used. It's tough that we're not allowed to use it at all. I get using it for big primary things that some artists would have got money on, but man, using it at all makes it tougher.
The problem I have with that, with a lot of that, and we've discussed it before,
right,
is the fact that, like I used it to make our intro because I can't sing, I can't write music, I can't do any of that. I don't have any damn money to do any of that. So no one volunteered to come in and write the song and put everything together for me. So there's that. And how come they only, for the most part, these people are like, well, I'm an artist, so I don't want you to use it for art. Okay, so you want to protect what you have. That's what's going on, is you want to protect what you have. And so I'm supposed to handicap myself and not use a tool because you the blacksmith don't want me to have a car because you're so good with horseshoes.
That's a whole subject we could definitely do a whole hour podcast on.
And we will again and again.
And I've always been a big guy on the whole exposure thing too, because to me, exposure is a good thing if you know how to use it. Everybody bitches about it, doesn't know how to use it. I can tell you a million great ways.
That goes on to my second AI thing, because I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about.
Hold on real quick. I'm just going to comment. Hi, Carol. And Carol. Jake said, I'm hopping on the wave and riding it as hard as I can. The future is here. People get mad because they are failing as an artist. And I'm not jabbing fingers. I'm not picking a fight, but I agree with that. There's no way we're getting rid of the AI now. The best we can do is, and I'm going to talk about this with convention stuff here in a minute, but government regulations, if they came back with some government regulations against AI, that like if we start getting established with stuff and then they start pulling stuff away from us.
That will not happen until we have the AI equivalent of the SALT Accords from the 1980s, 1990s, where both the US and Russia agreed to stop making nuclear weapons. Right now, we are in a head-to-head race with China and whoever achieves, the super AI or the first is going to win. And neither country or neither realm is looking to pull back. They know the race is on, so they're pushing hard, and there's nothing we can do to put on the brakes because the people in power don't want to put on the brakes.
Jake says the compass is cheating. You have to only read the stars. I've said that a lot, and in the art industry too, because a lot of us are all artists. We're entertainers. We're also
Pacific
artists.
Islanders. The Wayfarers, all right? Those mother suckers made it all the way across the Pacific Ocean to Hawaii and Easter Island and all that place like that, just gauging currents and stars and what direction the bird took a shit in, okay? And, if they could do it, we don't need GPS. Screw that. Get rid of it.
Well, it's like if you're a sculptor and you use a mold or a texture, is that cheating? And I've talked about it on here. When and it made me feel so old last night when I was watching a YouTuber and he had to explain to some young people what CGI was. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? CGI, it's pretty common, but to me, like CGI killed the animation industry in the 90s, early 90s when I was getting into it. I looked at CGI very negatively. Also, as somebody who did like graphic design stuff, when everybody started painting their pictures on their computers, all that pissed me off. It's like I had to take classes. I had to learn how to paint on canvas, damn it, guys. And now you're just getting in and hopping on and deleting is easy. And that's cheating. I felt that way. But it has become the new norm and people use tools both ways. And guess what? Canvas painting industry, it's still there. It's still there.
Just because people, all of a sudden got their Wacom tablets and can do their drawings in multiple layers. All right, that didn't run other, they're all tools. All right, and as we all well know, we can just sit there and look at most art, and once we sit there and looking at the art or listening to the song or watching the video, there's always something. We humans are really, really good with that uncanny valley, which is just weird when you think about it. What happened in our evolutionary past that we needed to be able to discern what is almost human but not quite? Because that's what the uncanny valley is. Do you know the uncanny valley?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, the uncanny valley is that when it comes to like robots or automatons, it's all cute and fun, looking like WALL-E and stuff like that. But the closer it gets to looking like a human, I mean, we're okay with it, or we're okay with it. But when it gets like right next to being human, all of a sudden, us being okay with it falls off a cliff, and all of a sudden we're not okay with it because it's fallen into the uncanny valley where it just looks too close to human, and it freaks us out. And there's an evolutionary thing for that, and we don't know why. I think it might be the Denisovians or the Neanderthals, but that could be another thing.
They say a lot of it is what I've heard on it. I'm not an expert or saying I know for sure shit, but
no one's an expert.
It's when we see it that little off. It's like when we see somebody that's sick, we see somebody go, they don't look well. So I need to stay away from that. It's dangerous to me. It will bring me disease. It will bring me whatever illness that thing has. So I just, even like an animal, we see an animal, it looks a little off. We're like, something's up with that. I don't, you stay there, puppy, that kind of shit.
Well, sure, you could go with something like that, but it might be the Fae, all right? One too many babies were stolen by doppelgangers and stuff like that. So it might be that. You never know.
Damn it, where was it? Before I know you got another AI story. To me, though, I'm using it every day. If it's used as a tool, it's great. I bought a dehydrator for my filament, a food dehydrator, not a regular. Yeah. I was going to get a regular one, but I saw it for like $6 at the secondhand store. I take a picture of it, and not only does it say, because I just said, can this be used for PLA, dehydrating PLA? And it says, not only can it be used, but I've noticed in your previous questions, you have an Ender S3 V3, thing. Yeah. That is the most commonly used one by people who use the filament brands and machine you use. And here's how to use it. And it gave me a whole list of how to use it. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm buying it for $6.
Hell yeah.
I was so tickled. But of course, it was going like, you've got a good eye and shit like that too. It was telling me.
it always does it like it's a, some kind of sycophant to a politician who's just sucking up to him.
Sorry.
Somebody who's like telling Elon Musk, "You're the greatest engineer ever." All right.
Let me just check real quick what Jake's saying here. Prepare to throw away my iPad by number 2 pencil. I mean, you know that guy Cookie, he's a little off. Love you too, Jake. Now I do have a story I wanted to hit at some point. But you got another AI one, right?
Okay, this other AI one, this is one I was listening to, I think it was yesterday or the day before. And they were talking about workflows, because that's a big thing that I like to listen to, is I like to know how people are using it. Not just, oh, there's this cool thing. Okay, great. How do I freaking use it? All right. And there is a new one for those who are playing along at home. All right. On your computer, go to labs.google.com. All right. That's where all the experimental stuff that Google has to play around with is. And one of them is called Pomelli, Pomelli. And this one is a game changer when it comes to businesses. Okay. So what you do is when you get onto Pomelli, you give it the URL of your business, whatever your business is, give them the URL, of the website for your business. And it will go in and it will figure out the DNA of your website, the fonts you use, the coloring, and all the stuff like that. So it figures out what's going on. And from there, you can go ahead and just hand it an image of your product. Here's Joe's, face cream. All right. Face cream for men. All right. And it will go ahead and you can tell it what to use it in, have it as in a use where somebody's using it, or have it, just sitting next to the sink, or just have it just a product picture, and it will go ahead and generate the imagery that you need, just and utilizing the color schemes and everything that match up with your business page. And here's the big part, it will then go ahead and create, once you tell it to, an entire ad campaign, including social media posts, videos, everything. All right. So think about, when you're on your social media sites and you always, they're feeding you these advertisements. All right. And we all click on them because, some of them are like, hey, I like that. And so you go ahead and click on it, and you can tell it's a drop ship. All right. It's someplace where somebody is drop ship. They are getting the stuff from AliExpress or Temu, upcharging you 20-30%, and then having it shipped to you. So they're not even doing anything. So you could tie that in and have an entire ad campaign and everything put together, videos, sob stories, all the crap, and have that put out with very minimal investment, which means an increase on the ROI, the rate of the return on investment, the ROI. And so that's, a ton of people are using the Pomelli right now in order to take their bare bones business and flesh it out into a full ad campaign and into a full thing for them.
That's interesting, because I've seen people using AI for their drop shipping businesses where they almost have to do fucking nothing.
Yeah. So with it, you can draft ghost campaigns within 5 minutes. Pomelli can generate a full multi-platform campaign, Instagram, Facebook, Google Ads, and email for an idea that doesn't even really exist yet. You can generate 3 different brand angles of the same, object. Like one focused on nerd culture, one focused on local Kansas stuff, one on high-end, people. And so you can have different ad campaigns, and you can even animate video of somebody doing something with your product using VO, all, just using the AI, and have it all done within 5-10 minutes. And you're essentially getting an entry-level marketing agency for $0.
I'd have a hard time putting out an AI video of my product that didn't actually have my product in it,
Well, but that's the thing. It would look like your product in it.
Yeah, as long as it didn't look like AI, because, it's real hard anymore. Some of it does not look like AI at all. Some of it you're like, oh, that's fucking AI.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And that's the thing. You got to be picky. You can't, but that's the thing. How many times have you seen those ad campaigns where you just look at it and go, oh, Christ, that's AI, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
And honestly, it makes me go,
Yeah. But that's the thing, is those are the people who are just slapping that stuff out there and not, even checking on it. And look here, Jake says that he's been using it for his campground plan.
So that what he said about a pirate campground thing the other day or last week, that's a real thing. He's looking at. Yeah, he sent me a picture of it, and that would be fucking cool as hell.
But that's on Google Lab, and it's called Pomeli for those who wish to try it. But there are tons of different, basically in beta version AI things that they have there. Create portraits, videos, music sandboxes, mixed boards, and all kinds of different stuff that's on the labs.google.com that you can just go ahead and play with.
See, I keep seeing stuff like this, and right now, like I was talking last week, sorry, shouldn't have been eating candy while I was doing this. So last week I was talking about, maybe stepping back from the convention festival world. I've been running conventions for a long time. So I'm still looking at like maybe getting back into leather vending or maybe selling some 3D prints and not that I don't have rooms and tons, because even like if we sell the Anime Fest, which I've been working on all week, but we got like 3 people looking at buying it. I have to inventory everything. Some of it will sell, some of it won't. So I have all the Emerald City stuff to sell. I have all this other stuff. So I'm looking at these businesses and stuff like this I see. I'm like, it's so much easier right now if I want to get back into leather vending, for example, to do it than before. Like before, trying to build website, do social media sucked. Now, do it all day long. It's easy. So then I look at it and go, well, I don't want to compete. Everybody else knows how to use this shit. And if I'm now, it's like when we were doing WAGs and then MySpace came out and was a big thing. And then Facebook came out as a big thing. And then anybody who made a Facebook page suddenly had a band, They didn't have to have that reputation of doing festivals. It felt like cheating, but it ended up being a good thing in the long run. But that's how I feel about a lot of this now. Like I want to get back in, maybe selling leather, selling some of this shit, but I feel like I'm just going to compete with everybody that knows how to use AI.
Not necessarily, because one thing that we've started to notice, all right, and I've noticed it like the last year especially, and I'm really expecting to see it, really start to steamroll this year at conventions, is the return of the handmade product. All right. So many people are getting burnout on just, either AI crap, AI slop, or, stuff that you can just tell, oh, yeah, you bought this by the gross from some Chinese manufacturer. I can still smell the heartache and, and child labor on it.
That's why it's hard to compete with handmade leather stuff when you can just buy shit by the truckload from Mexico right now.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing is there is already starting a groundswell of people who would prefer to purchase something that they know is handmade. And so I don't think that it is as dire a prospect as you are thinking it is.
That was kind of my point. I know it's not as bad. Like I was saying, like Facebook and all that stuff. At first, I was like, that fucking pissed me off.
Yeah.
Even the CGI I was talking about earlier. Yeah, it pissed me off. It's something new, but it all ended up being good in the long run. Hurts the industry for a little bit, but in the long run, like CGI now, cell animation got brought back and CGI enhances it. Now we can fucking animate full rotating rooms and shit. We couldn't do that before.
Now, think of it along this lines, though. All right. Like, I know that Frank, all right, when he goes to different places, he does his art all over the country.
Frank Keith,
all right. Yeah. And so I know that one of his things is that he tries to make sure that he is keeping in contact with his with the art fans who buy his works. All right. So he is, making, oh yeah, I'm going to be in this area, I'm going to be in Phoenix, on this weekend. So all of my buds out in Phoenix come out and see us at such and such art festival and stuff like that. All right. So now think about this. You and I both, we hate that drudge work of putting together, hey guys, all this stuff like that. That is
yeah.
So
like 10 times you show up, do my thing and walk away. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for just standard newsletter stuff, if you have like a list of, of people who are, either fans or people who are like, let me know when you guys are in town. Okay, give me your email and all the stuff like that. So, if you have a list of this, then you can go ahead and have the AI generate a what am I looking for? Like an email, like a blurb, stuff like that. Hey, people, this is what's going on with the winery this month, and here's all the things that we've been doing. Just a standard, newsletter. That's it, a newsletter. And so you could just feed it. Okay, this is what's going on. Make me a newsletter. Make me some posts that I can put up, and then you go through and you review everything and make sure everything is the way that you like. Because you're the executive, you're the one who makes sure everything's okay. So all that stuff that we hate to do, but you need to do if you're going to keep a good fan base, you can, for a lot of the stuff that, what was it? Basically things that are low, low value, where it doesn't really matter, because a lot of these are now to the point where they have a 90% success rate. So if you have stuff where you don't mind if like maybe 10% of it, there's something a little bit wrong, like there's a misspelling in this Instagram post or something like that, that's what you use it for. All right. Is for that low value. As a tool. Yeah. You use it for the low value stuff. That way you can spend more time on the high value stuff.
And that's why I try to explain to people a lot is use it as a tool. It's not like we're using it like, oh, we just plugged in AI and it's taking over and it's doing all this shit now. And we're not even use it as a tool, like any tool. Like this 3D printer is a fucking tool. This laptop.
I would so love to walk in the winery once and just see 4 robots bottling for me. I'd be like, oh, this is the future.
I'd be happy with one robot bottling for us.
Yeah, take your time, dude.
John, I will look for that on Messenger. And yes, you're right. I rarely check my Messenger. I try to keep up on stuff. I've gotten into a huge, not that I don't give a shit about my friends, but a huge, so many emails I just don't give a shit about.
Well, see, and that's the thing too, is you can also, like I've used it for email before, because Gemini now with Gemini, which is the Google one, if you give it access to your Google workspace, all right, give it access to your calendar, to your emails and stuff like that, you can actually, excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Sorry.
I was waiting for a manly sneeze too after all that. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't go. I said, yeah, I don't. It was okay. Sneeze. I didn't practice.
Jessica said, "Don't call me a robot." How did I call you a robot? I missed it. Sorry.
But you can go ahead and just ask Gemini. Once you give it access, you can say, "Hey, go through my emails. Let me know, if I have anything from family or friends," and you can give it hierarchical instructions, and it will go through and manage your emails for you now if you want to. And I believe that's still on the free plan. It'll do that on Google Gemini. Hey, honey.
Yeah. You did too call me a robot. You said people in here, robots in here bottling wine, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, don't call me a robot.
I was going to turn that around and call Daryl one, but yeah, you saved his ass on that then, I guess. Sorry.
Okay, I gotta go finish dinner.
Okay.
Let's see, Jake put, I've been walking on the road for, I was just reading this because I didn't quite follow it when I read it. I've been walking on the road for a long time, and I've had to restart many, many times. AI is letting me rent a free Ferrari, which I have questions about that.
Yeah.
And making the journey much faster and allowing me to get much farther in a fraction of the time. And
he's using symbolism. That's what he's with the road is the symbolism for the path that he's traveling down.
Perfect. I got you. That makes sense.
It's symbolic.
Now that I did that, let's see if I can scroll back down. There we go.
And if you've ever watched Boondock Saints, you will get the reference for the symbolism. All right, go ahead.
Oh, fuck. Hang on. I'm such a Boondock Saints fan now. I don't know if I know.
Come on. It was Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
When he was the one guy was like, and maybe it was a symbolology. He was like, no, it's symbolic,
I got you. Okay. Yep. All right.
So I wasn't being an ass, Jake. I was doing a very bad Willem Dafoe. Apologies.
He's always an ass though, too.
Well, it's a gift.
Yeah. So I got a question for you on this story. Hopefully, I'm assuming you already know all about this shit. About a month ago, we started hearing a lot about New York and Washington that we're passing new 3D Printer laws are trying
Okay.
to. Okay.
What's going on with this?
Well, hey, hold on. I'm not done.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
done.
Bring
Because
it up.
California now,
Paint the picture. Yes, it's
Yeah.
3 different states.
California now is doing it, and they're adding to it.
Right.
So what it was before was the idea was they're worried about us 3D printing guns.
That was the security theater that they're using.
Right.
But truly, if they were worried about guns, they would have gun laws, and we wouldn't be having our schools shut up. So it's security theater. What's going on is what I believe is there's too much plagiarism. All right, going on right now. You can print off your Disney stuff and print off all this other stuff. I don't think the big companies like their IPs being plagiarized like that. So they're using this as a means to go ahead and try to lock down the 3D printing industry. And they're lobbying state by state. So they're trying it at a state level right now before they go for a federal level. That's my conspiracy theory. I'll
give you that. I and the laws there, I could see that very much. So I was thinking it was more of going after people because they're trying to go after people. Let's face it, nowadays, so many people are doing like 3D printing businesses and different things, and they're not reporting that income. They want all that income of all these people that have gotten Cricuts and 3D printers and t-shirt presses and doing their own drop shipping businesses and shit and not reporting all that income. I think that's part of the problem, part of it. But now with this new California one, before it was the idea, they're saying that we just want it, that anybody that, like, we have to get a permit in order to download a file for a gun, to print any kind of gun. That sounds great. I could get behind that. But the idea is, like the printers don't know the difference between a gun and a race car. They're printing parts, they're files. So suddenly it'll be like anything that's a tube, we can't print. Because let's face it, I can go out back here to the blacksmith shop and make a fucking gun right now. I can do it on 3D printer.
Here's the thing.
I can do it with shit in my garage.
There is no law against you making your own gun.
Well, they want that regulated to where you have to get a permit to do it. The problem being is the parts, but now with California jumping into it, what they've added, and I've written it down here so I don't. It's their California's new bill will require DOJ approval, Department of Justice approval, for all 3D printers to report on themselves. So every printer sold in California, and the idea is this will be nationwide, will have to be able to hook to the internet, and they will know, Department of Justice will know 100% of everything, not just guns, everything you print. Anything that goes through that, which means purchasing or transporting a non-sanctioned device would be illegal. If I take a 3D printer across line, if I print a 3D printer without getting going through the proper steps with the state to do it. Every company that makes 3D printers and wants to sell their 3D printer in that state would need to be approved from the DOJ in order to sell the 3D printer. So then the states will start doing the regulations, what the 3D printers can do. And if you try to install, and this is in the bill now, if you try to install any open source third-party software onto your product, that would be considered skirting the law and be a misdemeanor.
Not going to go through.
I hope it doesn't, but the problem
Here's the reason I believe it will not.
Go ahead.
Is because the wording on it is so broad, it covers all additive and subtractive manufacturing. That means every lathe, every welder, everything that uses either additive or subtractive to manufacture will have to be registered. That's everything in our entire manufacturing, scape. And it's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen. And if it does happen, these things will be jailbroken so freaking fast.
That's what I was thinking. And I told Gabe, there's so many printers out here in the market now. I mean, we're all looking at what Josh and Megan are doing. They're grabbing old printers, just like your buddy that you were helping out,
Yeah.
Grabbing old printers, fixing them up, having them print. And with the technology and the shit out there now, I mean, I've learned a lot just working on mine the last 2 years. I feel like with just parts I can get from people in town that have like given up on printing, I could build my own 3D printer that would never
What a
go
lot of
online.
people forget. What a lot of people forget is the very first 3D printer that really came out. I think it was Thingabot or something like that. All right. One of its selling points is that you could use it. All you'd have to do is buy some motors, all right, and put together, get a Raspberry Pi board or something like that. All you have to do is get some motors and some rails, but the rest of it, you can 3D print all the other parts on your 3D printer. All right. So they're not going to be able to stop it because, at that point, they're going to have to lock down every, integrated circuit chip. They're going to have to lock down every, stepper motor and everything. And no, it's not going to happen.
And that I feel a lot better you saying that because I know you watch that stuff a lot more than I do. And
Yeah.
John, that's why I was talking about you today because everybody was getting their printers in. And I'm like, good thing because I talked about John getting his, Gabe getting his. It's like, get it now before shit hits. Because the news coverage then I went and watched about, because I'd heard it before. And then now with California doing it, I went and watched more news coverage and almost everything. Like on the news, they're all talking like, this is just common sense. It makes sense that people just shouldn't be able to print guns. And it's like, yeah, but how do you regulate that? And at what point does it stop? Because again, like I said, we've got a whole blacksmith shop right fucking there. I could go out there and do that. And even before that, I was always like, if somebody wanted, I'm saying this on the internet, which is smart, but if somebody wanted to make a gun or a projectile device that wouldn't even be detected through a metal detector, all you got to have is a little smarts. I mean, like I say, I could go in a garage and with shit I got, make something that would shoot somebody and kill them. It's not difficult. Like Mike said, just keep it offline, but apparently that would be against the law. So I don't know. So then to buy a 3D printer, you would have to have an internet service as well. What if you just didn't pay for internet service?
Well, yeah,
I don't know how they would even implement that shit.
This is a whole thing. I think this is one of those pie in the sky things where they're like, oh, look what we're doing. It's security theater. We're doing this to protect the people. And even if it does pass, it's not enforceable. All right.
It just sucks. It's one more thing. I thought the one good thing it would maybe do is maybe we won't see that endless rotation of 3D printer booths at conventions then, because
that is more going away by consumer choice.
I think so.
So. Consumers are just tired of it, and we don't want to see it anymore, and we're not buying their stuff, and so people aren't. There's not as many now because what was it 2-3 years ago? God, every other booth was a 3D printed booth.
It's still that way a lot. I mean, we get so many 3D printed booth applications now. Mm-hmm. It is stupid. But there's some good ones, like in Hannibal. That I think I sent you pictures of that one that does the displays of like Star Trek phasers and guns from Star Wars and stuff, and they're just displays like you own the gun.
Yeah,
gorgeous work, beautiful stuff, and they come year after year, and I'll go just to look at it because it looks cool. But then we'll also have 5 fucking vendors that just have dice towers and mugs. They're all one piece and that kind of shit.
Well, that's one of the things that gets me. There's like this whole discussion in the plastic modeling community, pro and con 3D printing, where they're like, well, that's not real modeling. Why isn't it?
I think
why is it only a real model if you went and bought the box with the parts there instead of you printing off the parts and then putting it together? The only difference is where you're getting the freaking parts. They're still plastic parts you're putting together, slapping some paint on and saying, aren't I a cute little boy? Screw that.
I will have this argument with them all fucking day long because I did vinyl and resin modeling years ago. Like I was showing last year, the kits I got from 20 years ago that I was competing with. To me, like they come in a box. Yeah, you got a putty and but everything fits right. It's all good. 3D modeling, I can adjust my files. I can manipulate the files to make my own dioramas, my own shit. And then on top of that, prints will mess up. So then you're being creative with what you can do to them. And you can get into those files and add stuff for your own lighting and shit. it's just so much more. You got to have more talent to 3D print than you have to buy a kit and put it together.
It's I was putting together a model like 2 years ago or so, and it was an old 1980s model kit, and one of the pieces was warped. All right. So I know I need to put this, it's polystyrene. I need to put it in hot water and soften it up so I can do stuff. So I go into the kitchen, I put the pot on the stove and I put the water in, and I turn on the stove and I put the piece in. And then Jessica and Gannon call me away to go work on something, and I forget that the pot's on the frickin' stove. All right. And I come back in, I was like, oh crap, 30, 40 minutes later, and I go in there, the water's half gone, the part's all curled up into a ball. And I had to go onto eBay and buy another, one of that model kit so I could just get that one frickin' part so I could finish it. Whereas if I had purchased the model from the artist, all right, and then went ahead and printed off, if I mess something up, I can just print that part off again.
Yeah. I'm almost surprised you didn't just try to look that part up and see if maybe somebody had just that one part you could print. But it
no, it was a crappy little 3D. It was a crappy little 3 model set from the 1980s.
Well, and think those injection mold models, they're so smooth, they look so good. Again, like the Scooby-Doo I got right here. Look at all the putty and sanding, the work I got to do to make it look good.
The skills,
instead of just fucking spraying a whole bunch of fiberglass inside of injection mold and going done.
Yeah.
And I can say it because I did that shit too. I've got a whole setup downstairs for mold building and shit.
Yep.
This takes some talent. Which I pointed over because Robin Banks is on tonight. Hi, Robin. How you doing, brother? He said, I love my 2 3D printed mini-me statues. We were talking about that last week or the week before because there's a new program out now. I've got 2 programs, and I'm using one now to print some chess pieces to where you can do a version of what you did where we can scan you, put it in, AI finishes the model because it doesn't have the full rotation like you got. Because what you got was better than what this is, but this is one you can do at home now. So like I could do all the wags in 3D kits or 3D statues right now here at my house for a fraction of the cost. Wouldn't be the detail yours has. Yours has.
Unless you use the resin printer.
Well, even the file, I would have to get in. I would have to do more work. Like they could just do it, done. I'd have to sit there with the file for a while, get rid of that extra thumb and shit, and and
add in the extra thumb because some of us sucked on the radium bottle too hard.
Yeah. That's Rich had him add the bulge in front. I saw it. Mr. Winky's almost facing him straight up.
Yeah, he's a happy Winky.
Oh, Jake says he wants to see Scooby. I'm going to turn it real quick. Scooby's not totally put together. I was hoping to have him painted tonight. So there's a Scooby, and I'm doing the laptop. So he's 3 foot 8 inches tall, mostly head. But he looks cool.
You know what? That sounds like a good date.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I had so many bad things to say. I can't. I'll be put on an Epstein list somewhere. I don't need that shit. Kristen says, even at Ren Fair, there are too many. Agreed.
3D printing.
Yes, 3D printing booths. Some are cool, but the same thing over and over again. And that's the thing too. It's a new thing. And most festivals and conventions should be juried in. And with 3D printers, for some reason, they're not doing that. Conventions and festivals just aren't. If there's a leather vendor, they'll look at the leather vendors, go, well, we already have 3, 4 would be too much. Or the leather you're doing is like you're just doing boots, and none of these guys have boots, so we can let you in. They need to do that with AI or 3D printers too, because so many of them are selling the exact same shit. So like the guy I was saying that sells the Star Wars, Star Trek guns, that kind of shit. Yes, let him in because he's not selling those dice towers and shit. But don't keep letting in the same guys that are printing all those free Thingiverse files over and over again. It's not, it looks bad. B, it's not fair to those vendors at all. Jurying is there for a reason.
I've told this story again and again, but we had gone to it was the big Wichita flea market that was held at Century 2. And there was a lady there with a 3D printed, setup. She was doing all the standard stuff. And what I generally liked about her besides the fact that she actually had a small 3D printer there printing, so people could see that happening.
Right.
So that was really cool. But what I generally liked about her is because I saw, you know, the stuff, and I know that all that stuff was available, you know, for files if you go to somebody as a patron and you get the stuff. But she actually was displaying her merchant license that she had gotten from that artist. She paid for the merchant license so she could be a merchant and sell those things. And I was like, that's cool right there. You were doing it correctly. No, I'm not going to buy your crap. It's 3D printed crap. I'm not going to buy it.
I see that a lot, especially a great example is the girl that we use a lot at our conventions that does glassware. Like you've seen my Ghostbuster and stuff, the glassware I drink out of. She gets licensing for every single cup she does. Look, and she has to compete against other people who are just doing it and selling it and waiting for that cease and desist order.
I'd like to point out that Jessica asked a wife question from a 3D printer wife. Oh. She asked the question.
Surprisingly, Scooby-Doo here.
She asked the question, how many rolls of filament did it take to print Scooby-Doo? As someone who has seen roll after roll of filament be delivered to the house, yes, she is asking that question.
I've got about 5 rolls in the Scooby here, 5.5. So you're looking about $60 to print him.
Is that 5 rolls in total, including all mess ups, or is that just 5 rolls of finished product?
We're going to say 6 rolls.
Okay, yeah, we'll live that dream.
But yeah, once you start adding in Bondo and different shit too, because this took more Bondo than I expected. It's still like the dinosaur. Well, part of it's there, part of it's downstairs now because that's the other project I'm working on. That dinosaur took twice as much almost as this because it's the same size, but it's got moving parts. It's got walls on the inside and the outside, and I printed it a little thicker in order to make it structurally stable. This guy, I printed him at about 5 to 8% infill. Most of it's 8%. So it makes it
2 walls or 3?
Huh?
2 walls or 3?
2, I believe. I used whatever setting I had on it already and went, that's good.
Probably 2.
Remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that I also want him a little lighter weight so that I could pick him up, move him, carry him around, because he's big enough. He's going to sit here in this room. If I got to bring shit through this room, I want to be able to move him, or if I want to take him to a convention, you know, to get signed or something, I want him movable. So yeah, I'll probably realistically have $80 in this guy when he's done.
But let's also look at the amount of time. All right, yeah, it's $80, but this has been a labor of love. You've spent months working on it.
No, 2 weeks. I started not last podcast, but the podcast before. I started that day.
Let me tell the nice story that gets you out of hot water, dude. All right.
Sorry,
months, veritable years of planning and putting this together. All right.
I started watching Scooby back when I was a child, and that's what
a lifetime spent on this model, and only $80. And really, you know, if you look at it for the amount of effort and time and everything, dollar per dollar, he could have been out, you know, doing Jaeger shots. So it's better.
I appreciate your evaluation on that. It does not matter near as much as the one the wife gave, where she went, you only did like 5 rolls of filament on that. That's pretty good. You could probably sell those. You know, I'm
like, right, man, that is some Stockholm syndrome right there. You have
oh, poor Christy, because now with Gabe printing and my daughter's printing and everything, she's in the middle of it all, and she's like, I'll just run the website for you guys to sell, because Josh and Megan, they're way above on me, but that's what Josh does.
She needs to get on the website, that thing, and look at the Pomelli and stuff like that, and that would help her do that stuff.
That is actually a really good idea, because they're selling on a regular. He mostly has been printing rims for remote control cars.
Yeah,
that's his primary sale. But like, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I called him up and he goes, "How's today going?" "Oh, pretty good. We just did $100 in sales this morning."
Sweet.
I'm like, shit. I haven't even uploaded the pictures to my Facebook of the shit I made, let alone made a website or eBay or anything for it.
Well, and like my boss was, because he's dabbling into 3D printing, and one of the things he wants to try to make is he has it's like the last year that they made the Jeep Wrangler. I think he said it was like a 2003 or something like that. Whatever, that more. But he needs a steering column cover. All right, and he was wanting to print that, and he's wanting to figure out how to do all this stuff like that, because he can't find them, for a decent price. And I had to tell him, oh, you are not going to use PLA for that. You need to use PETG, because that PLA in a hot car in the summer, you'll come back just a slump.
Well, I've found so many good things for my old CJs out here that I can just print. Shit that I used to look at salvage yards for, and now it's like I can just print it. But the problem is now I can just print it. So I'm like, I'll do it later. I can just do it anytime now. I want to comment. Rich said that he was going to Planet this year. Got his room, got a 3-day pass, all that. Awesome. I still don't know if I'm going. I got another invite today by another person to go vend. And then just as you said that, Tiffany got on and asked if I was going. So I'm toying with it, but I'm also booked the weekend before for a show and the weekend after for a show. And I don't know how much I want to be on the road right now. So, and of course, once April hits, you know what it's like. It'll just be bam, bam, bam for a while. And I'm really loving my reclusive sit at home and paint my miniatures and fucking.
We need to bottle some wine, dude. We have to get that wine bottled.
I'm all about it. Whenever you're ready, Saturday.
Oh, do not throw that on me.
I was incorrect about last week. The Geek Trivia Show is this weekend, so I will be at WSU this Saturday doing Geek Trivia with the Ghostbuster group.
Okay.
We should round up some Star Trek guys. Come out there. We'll go head to head. You know different geek trivia than I do. I would love to go.
No, it's not that. I'm just trying to imagine the average Star Trek person that I know, and most of them are not good at public venues. They're kind of feral.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Johnson said, I'm planning on going to Planet. Jake says, bring you some wine. Next time I'm in Missouri, I will. I was going to bring someone coming down to your show. I just didn't make it. Again, too many shows lately well, not lately, just too much going on. And I don't know. I'm at that point where I'm almost dreading festival season this year. Nothing bad about it. Love doing shows, and I'll get there. Once I get there, I'll be fucking pumped and everything will be good.
Yeah.
But it's just that when you take that winter off and going back to it is so hard. And I've already done one show this year, but I skipped 2 that I was invited to because it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to get your energy. It's hard to get your mojo back.
Well, now that I'm working and using AI, I will say, on my grandpa's book a little bit, because I'm trying to do preemptive stuff before it gets here. It's like, oh, I could go do a show this weekend, or I could sit here and I'd have a whole weekend to work on this book and translate.
But do you?
Or
do you get pulled away?
I get pulled away, but I'm trying real hard not to. I'm trying real hard. I'm putting on my big boy pants and doing. I know Daryl knows this, but the first day of therapy I ever had, I went in, started talking about my job and my family, and she goes, I'm writing you a prescription. Writes it down, slides it over to me, and goes, now every time you're feeling stressed or anxiety about your family and your job, I want you to pull this prescription out. And it was a piece of paper that just said the word no. Just no. And I tried it. People got mad, but I tried it. I'm kind of back on that a little bit now, where it's I have to learn to say no. I'm bad about that.
Yeah, like I always say, just if you need to, just pretend that you're Daryl, and just tell people to suck a chode, because it don't fucking matter.
Yeah,
I mean, and I know. See, the thing is, you and Christy are so nice. You're like diametrically opposed to me. That's the reason I like to keep you around, to temper me, because I'll just burn that bridge. I'll just let it go. But I tell the story. Like one time, I was just not having it. And my dad called me, and he started in like he normally does because he's an ass just like I am. And I told him, don't do it. Just stop right now, or I'm going to hang up the phone and not talk to you again. And he didn't believe me, and he started in again. I hung up the phone, didn't talk to him again for like 5 years. And because I'll just burn that fucking bridge. I don't care.
And see, that's how I am.
That's why it's good to have you around, because you keep me from doing that so much.
See, I'm having you around might be it. Sometimes it's good for me because I can bring out my inner Daryl, or my asshole, as we call it.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I am good like peppered. I am a seasoning that you put across the meal. You don't make a meal out of the pepper.
But see, I got two flaws. One, and for those that weren't here last week when we were talking, about 2 weeks ago, I had a legit like nervous breakdown. So my health has been a off and on subject. But oh fuck, now I can't remember where I was going with it. Oh, now knowing you and stuff is good, because then I can use the asshole experiment sometimes. But then sometimes I go, fucking people like Daryl or Big Tim can get away with this, damn it. I can too. And I can't because I'm not used to being a full-fledged asshole.
No.
So it's almost like watching a child try to present his assholiness and say, no, you just can't do that. And if you do that, I'm, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, oh, John, you're so cute. It's hard.
Yeah. And also you have too much feels to deal with some of the repercussions sometimes.
Yeah.
I know.
I
was put into training for that as a small child. I still remember my mom just looking at me going, just let it roll off like water off a duck's back. Just water off a duck's back. And that is still one of my sayings to this day is, if somebody's, just really getting involved, just let it roll, water off a duck's back. Just let it slide, man.
And one of the things that's messing with me on this is because, I consult with festivals a lot, and I have gotten to that point where I'm getting real tired. And Jake knows this. He's at some of those fairs and stuff, and he knows. Rich has seen it too, where you go in and you'll say, hey, this and this and this needs to happen. Like this, these are just entry level things. This isn't like for an advanced festival worker, you need this. It's just like you always have to have like a ticket taker here, or you have to have a liquor license, and they just won't do it. And for year after year to just it not happen. And then you get to clean up the mess. That's where I'm really struggling. That's where I'm really struggling, where I just almost don't even want to do that job anymore because I'm so tired. You go in, you do it, and everybody looks at you. And I know Jake's felt this fucking pain. People look at you and goes, well, why is it this way? And you got to go, well, I tried, but the festival wouldn't go for it. Yeah. And everybody just looks at you like, sure you did. You're making an excuse. You're full of shit, whatever.
What gets me is
a hit for the fair not doing shit, but you still get to cash a check.
Well,
is it worth it?
What gets me is the fact that you brought this up to the fair and they go, no, why should we have to change? We have you there to clean up after us.
Yes.
All right.
I've been told that directly.
So what you need to start doing is start, into your contract, you need to write in, okay, for every this level of mess up that I have to clean up because you didn't do what I suggested, we're going to do a 10% bump in what you pay me.
Yeah. What I've been doing
if they are going to abuse the contract that they have with you because you went into it expecting a certain amount of work for what you're getting paid, if they're abusing that and giving you more work, then you need to put into the contract that if you are going to be doing more work, you need to be getting more pay.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm changing the whole way I do it. Instead of going, here's proposals for free, and then I'll come in and show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And fix the problem is, you want a proposal? Pay for it. And then if you want me to implement it, you pay for it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to fucking just do all this work, because that's how it ends up being. I do a lot of work for an event. They love you. You save their ass. You do whatever needs to be done. And then they get used to you doing that. Mm-hmm. And I got to get because it's that nice guy format. It's that nice guy format. And it just doesn't work. Rich, I was reading your comment. You said, can't do the asshole. I can do and it says perfect pretty well. I know what you're going for. You're doing the perfect. He's a.
Oh, He got auto corrected away from perv.
Yeah.
That's the thing where we try not to have anything that makes us look like we're related to Epstein. So keep that autocorrect going.
No. But anyhow, and Jake said it there. I ain't stressing for nobody no more. That's how I am. I'm figuring I'm old enough. I've done this shit. I'm so tired of competing with people that it's like they're like, oh, I did this one thing once, and it's like fucking I've done that every year for the last 20 years. It just I don't want to compete with those people. I don't have anything to prove anymore. And like my therapist says, my FOMO has gone away.
Yeah.
Kinda has, not totally.
For those who don't know, FOMO is fear of missing out.
Yeah. So I'm cool with that. And I'm getting old where I'm cranky and just watching too much politics and shit. And nobody wants that at a fucking fair anyway. So I know
that my birthday is next week.
It is. March 4th.
Yep. And I turned the big 5-5.
Is 5-5 the big one? I thought 5-0 was the big one.
Well, no, that's 5 years in the background, man. It can't be the big one because I'm already past it. All right.
What are you doing for your birthday? Because mine's only a few weeks after that.
I'm working. That's what I always do for my birthday.
Yeah, that's me. I'll work. I'll have a nice meal with the family. My daughter will make me a pie.
Ooh, what kind of pie?
Whatever I ask for. It used to be Reese's.
My favorite pumpkin pie. So
yeah, it used to be Reese's peanut butter pie, and she did all this cake she did, and it was gorgeous. Oh, nice. But now she does really awesome fresh fruit pies. So it's usually a strawberry banana pie last 2 years.
You know what? I've been doing a little bit of meal prepping for breakfast. You know what I've been making like the last couple of weeks that I've just been loving every morning? I'm making Scotch eggs.
I saw that online. Yeah.
And they're great for a breakfast because I make 6 of them at a time, just using the air fryer. And so I just put them in the fridge, and every morning I take one out, pop it in the microwave for 45 seconds, and I have myself an egg and sausage for breakfast right there.
See, and I had the Scotch egg discussion a lot with non-Ren Fair people because they're like, oh, it gets brought up, anything like the haggis thing and stuff. But Scotch eggs, I'll always tell people, they'll be like, I don't know, I had one at the KC Ren Fair and it just wasn't good. It's like, oh, that's not where you go get it. Like, and what time of day did you get it? Because get it in the morning.
Yeah.
You don't get it in the evening because they just hang on to that shit. It just sits under a heat lamp all fucking day.
Yeah.
So people will have a Scotch egg and they'll have one from a food vendor somewhere at some festival and they'll bitch and bitch and bitch. And so I tell people all the time, you got to have a well-made Scotch egg.
You know what?
Haggis is better than people give it credit for.
So. Very much so. I thought it was just, something people ate on a dare, but apparently not. It tastes good.
It is.
When we got it from that one Scottish guy, the guy who actually made the crap, that was a great haggis. And that was where I first tasted a Scottish egg. And it was excellent.
Oh, was it? But oh, man. Yeah, and then Baby's Head. First time I had Baby's Head was there, too.
The first batch of Scotch eggs I made with, and it tasted okay, but it was very bland. And I was following recipes, and all the recipes, I guess, English food, it's from the English Isles, bland. And so what I did to change it up a little bit is I went from using normal breakfast sausage on it. I used the spicy breakfast sausage, and that really got it a much better flavor.
Well, see, now you need to make me one, so I can judge yours.
Oh, is that how it goes? Okay.
Yeah, I want to judge it.
Yeah, you're judgy.
Yeah, it's already tough because I'm like here in this house, having Tim live here lately. I was a cook for 14 years.
Yeah.
For tons of people. I have a little pride in my cooking ability sometimes. But I'm living in a house with my wife who is a much better cook than I am. And then Tim staying here who just blows me out of the fucking water. And then they'll all get to talking about food and I feel like the idiot in the room. So I need to judge somebody else because I've been judged for months now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I just got a new thing of eggs and sausage so I can make another batch. So I'll see what I can do.
Let's see. Rich said 55. Ooh, mine is this big 60 this year. Damn, I'm old.
Yeah.
Holy moly, it is 60 this year. I thought.
Wow.
Fuck, I thought yours was January. When is your birthday, Rich? I thought it was January for some reason. I don't know.
Anyway.
Jake loves Scotch eggs. Haggis is the bomb. And I will say, I know because that was the
That's
first
a Gen
weekend we
X
both
terminology. We haven't been able to use that in public speaking since 9/11.
that first year we had haggis there in Hannibal, not Hannibal,
Well,
Riversance.
yeah, it was Riversance.
They
Yeah,
put that right next to our stage.
dude.
And I
what
remember it
love-
was so good. We would walk out there just like fucking eating haggis.
and we pimped that guy so much and got some foot traffic to his booth that at the end of the day when he had some stuff left, and that was his last, that was because that's in the fall, and that was his last event that he was doing and all the stuff like that. So when he was leaving, he was just, here guys, here's a bag of Scotch eggs for you, and here's some other stuff. He loaded us up with some good take-home stuff. Oh, it was so great.
It was. Oh, May 12th for Rich. All right. Well, we have gone hour and a half.
Yep. Same old.
And I didn't even talk about the political shit I was thinking about talking about.
Good.
So that's good. I mainly
perfect.
wanted to talk about that 3D printing thing and ask you about that because that was a concern. I was a little worried.
It
on
is
where
a
it was going.
concern.
Enough that I'm going to call my congressman about it.
Well, it's a concern, but the thing is that it is one of those things that I think they were going to try either one, it's going to be security theater, or two, it was one of those things they were going to try to sneak in, but it's now gotten so much publicity around it that they won't be able to sneak it through.
And I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I don't have my calendar for dates. Like I said, I'm doing WSU this weekend.
I got it covered. Here it is. Stuff coming up. Go to it. All right.
And the one comic thing I didn't cover that came out this week, I was so excited because the Wolverine teaser for 2026 came out. Wolverine movie. Oh yeah. Did you see it?
No.
Oh man, when it came out too, it popped up on YouTube. I said, Christy, that I've been waiting for that. It pops on and it says Wolverine, May 2026 or whatever it was, or 2027, and then that's it. Like that's it. That was the teaser.
That sucks.
Yeah, I think there was like a silhouette of like his head or something in the back, and that was it. It was a fucking. Oh, I was so mad. So
no, I think I sent you a video to your text because I know that you hover over every text that I send you. I think I sent you a video that
you sent me a video today. I started watching, but it was way too long. So
well, it could have been. No, it was the new puppet horror movie coming out. Yeah, see, that would have because I know you like horror movies.
Oh, I would have clicked on that.
Yeah, and it was it's a new puppet horror movie that's going to be coming out. Matter of fact, one of the things is they were like trying to drum up patronage, and if you donate a certain amount to getting the movie done, your name will be on one of the tombstones in the background, kind of stuff like that.
That's
and
cool.
Yeah, so but it's all puppet core, and it's a horror movie.
Oh, I'm definitely interested in that then. Yeah.
I'll
have to look through stuff. What dang it, there was something. Oh, John said need to talk to you guys about a business question. Send us a text or something. Anything is good. Having that said, I think we're done for the week, guys.
I think we are.
Yeah, we'll see you guys all next Wednesday. Hugs and kisses.
Maybe not. Next Wednesday is my birthday.
Oh, then probably not next Wednesday.
Yeah, it'll be the annual Beg My Wife Day.
Did you say beg your wife to hi honey?
I'm expecting her to stomp in and smack me any second, so we need to get going.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.